Welcome to ACE Thermal Transfer Ribbons, part of the TML.
Well, hello there. Thanks very much for joining us for this webinar. This is session 2 today. To those of you in Europe, good morning. I'm speaking to you from ACE's Development Center in Saigon, so it's in the afternoon. And we are going to be talking about how to select the best ACE TTR. My name is Phil Greswold. I'm CEO of ACE Thermal Transfer Ribbon, part of the TML Group Singapore. And at the end of the day, it's my job to get customers the products they need to solve the problems that they have. Okay, I'm joined today by Julia, who some of you will know Julia, okay, who is one of our testers. And Julia, I can recommend to you, Julia does a series called Professor Julia, and she gives advice on different TTR solutions. Okay, so check it out on YouTube on our ACE TTR channel. Today we're talking really about the garment industry in the main. Okay, so our main clients are international printers, national printers working a lot for the major brands. And we have in the garment industry some common issues, and those I want to address to help you get the best thermal transfer ribbon for your projects. Okay, ACE is actually involved across a whole multitude of industries. We serve the electronics industry, food, increasingly big, health, pharmaceutical, logistics. So we, from our experience, we can impart a lot of knowledge through to you about what you need. And we're always here to hold your hand and to be there when you've got a question. So always contact us, your account manager. You can contact myself or our team here in the development center. Okay. Now, frankly, we've all experienced problems with TTR printing. Okay. To lay people like you and me, TTR all pretty much looks the same. It's a black type ink on a film, and we can take several different types and it all looks very similar. This can lead to a lot of problems, a lot of misunderstandings where the wrong TTR is used for the wrong printer or the wrong project. Okay, and today I'm going through 3 major but simple steps that you can take and that you can then inform us that will help the whole process to you getting the right sample in your hand and starting your project in the right way. Okay, so we're going to be, after this, my talk through, we're going to have a Q&A session at the end. Please feel free to write any questions in the chat box. You'll see the chat box, please write them down. And at the end, we'll take some of those questions and I'll do my best to answer them, okay? So let's get straight to the 3 main points that we want to look at, okay? Now, the first one you'll be very familiar with, okay, which is the substrate type. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what to look on the substrate and what are the important points to let us know about. We're then going to take a look at the product application. And product application is about how the product is going to be used. Okay, so what kind of characteristics the product needs to take it from your factory all the way through to the retail high street, wherever that is in the world. And then finally, you'll all be familiar with the printers that you've got. And I just want to lead you through what type of printers there are and some of the problems that companies like yourself sometimes encounter with printers. And again, understanding the specification so we head in the right direction when selecting the TTR. So let's get straight back to number 1, which is the substrate type. Most of you will be familiar with sticker, decal, self-adhesive label type projects. And here's a typical drawing showing the layers. Now, in printing, for TTR, we are most concerned normally with the face stock. because normally you're buying a sticker from a manufacturer like Avery, Fasten, UPM, okay, and you're going to print straight onto the face stock that they're offering, okay. But then sometimes either you or a third party may be putting a top coat or a laminate, flood coat, you might call it, on top. And then we need to talk a little bit about that, which I'll go into. Okay. But common substrates that you're using, garment industry, you're using papers, which may be coated or uncoated. You're using quite a few plasticized materials now, like PVC, BOPP, maybe PET, packaging, these kind of products that you want to put TTR onto. And of course, textile labels, which we might call like a wash care label, PFL, printable fabric label. Okay, so you may have a whole range of those, okay, that we're going to understand, take, test, and then give you a solution across the board, okay? Here at ACE, we have over 30 different marketable TTRs covering a complete range, okay? So we can find the solution for you, okay? But with all of these different substrates, we're gonna need a different TTR, okay? Some people start testing the wrong TTRs on substrates, but it's not. They're all gonna require something a bit different, okay? And later on, I'm going to talk a little bit about our Select TTR service, okay, where we will actually do the heavy work for you. But if you see on the screen here, you can often send us a specification. So here's a typical Avery Fasten spec. And on the very top of it, it says face stock. And with that specification, you can send that to us. We know exactly what the sticker is. We have them all in stock here, and we can do the right testing, or we can recommend the right product, okay, knowing your printer and your applications, okay? So if it's PFL and you're dealing with some of the big boys like King Fabric, or you're dealing with Leaders or Sini, those big Chinese label fabric manufacturers, we know all of their codes. You can just give us the codes and we can recommend the right label fabric TTR for you, resin TTR, okay? Now, I'm just going to make you aware that in some of the larger printers, we do a lot of work with people like SML, RPAC, these kind of companies. They often have their own laminating process in the factory. That lamination area may be away from the printing area. And if for reasons of flexo printing or other printing, they change the lamination, you must be aware that that may make a difference to the TTR that you've got to use. So always try and be aware of that top coat. Has it changed? Are you getting the print result that you want? Okay. So I think that hopefully gives you an idea of the substrates, and knowing that with different substrates, different solutions. Okay. Let me now talk about your product application. Okay. And this is all to do with what the printed material is going to be used for. Okay, now here we have a couple of pictures. On the left there, you've got a typical RFID tag that is going to hang off the garment. It's going to have pricing information, maybe some product information. Obviously, it's containing an RFID antenna and chip. Okay, on the right, a typical, that would be in the food industry, but you also in garment have some packaging applications. And then what we're trying to understand, okay, is what are the qualities of the TTR that you need? Okay, so sometimes we need good longevity of the product because it's going to take a long time to maybe get from Southeast Asia to Europe or America. We certainly are always looking for good rubbing qualities. We call this crocking, okay? I have a croc meter here that we're using all the time with all of the testing, okay? And on a label fabric, you're definitely looking for a good fix of the ink into the synthetic, and you're definitely looking that there won't be any ink transgression from the label onto the garment that may make the garment unmarketable. Okay, so across these different substrates, you're going to have different applications. The brand that you're working to should probably advise you what their standards are. If they haven't, you probably just as well to ask them, but you really should be telling us, and then we're able to recommend products that match your requirements. Okay, so going on to care labels, one of the big features that you need is washability. ACE, we sell 6 different care label resin TTRs with different qualities at different prices for sure, from a normal wash, which may be a 10-cycle normal 40-degree wash, up to maybe a 60. We've had greater than 60-degree 50-cycle with a stone wash, completely different. Mechanical wash like a stone wash is very aggressive. You need the right. So you need to find out the relative IS, BS, AATCC standard from your client that's going to tell us what you're trying to achieve. Otherwise, you're wasting your time through the process, and you're going to be sending your garments maybe out to SGS or Intertech, and you don't want to be wasting money and time in that process. Okay, so the more information you can give us, the better. We can speak sensibly to you about what your options are. We are always bearing in mind the commercial considerations. Just let us know. Okay, here in this development center for PFL, we've normally got between about 15 and 20 different type labels under constant wash. And we are developing new products and testing new products. So, you know, we can impart a lot of knowledge to the project that you've got. Okay. This picture here shows a typical laboratory where they will be doing an enzyme wash or a stone wash for care label. Let's move on to the third key important area, and you'll all be familiar with the printers in your print shop or up in your offices. I mean, a lot of the printers here are just tabletop nowadays, very sophisticated at a good price. A lot of our clients are using 25 up to 35 different printers. Okay, but you may have 3, 4 sitting there, but you want to get the most out of it. The most important thing is that you've got to understand the specification of your printer, and particularly you need to understand what kind of print head technology it is. Okay, the print head is a delicate piece of equipment. It's expensive, normally from $500 to $800, and you want to get the maximum life out of it. Professor Julia does a series on how to look after your print head, and I recommend that you take a look at that. Okay, but you've got to know what type of print head it is, and there's 2 main print heads, and you will have heard of them. Firstly, we have flathead, okay, and then I'm going to go on and describe near edge, okay, or in America you can often call it corner edge. Let's look at flathead, okay. These are the big names in printing, okay, that you'll be familiar with. Zebra, the biggest, okay. 95% of Zebra printers, certainly at the normal level, are flathead, okay. But check your specification. You will have heard of Sato. Sato were the inventors of TTR. Gosh, back in the 1950s, mainly flathead, okay. A lot of you doing PFL printing, care wash labels, you may be using the very nice Japanese APOS Mercury machines, expensive but very capable, flathead. Then when we look on the other side for near edge print heads, we have the big name in the business, Avery Dennison, who you'll all be familiar with, and offshoots of them like Novex, the German brand, which is based on Avery technology, the Avery 6404, very common for a lot of you guys doing tags in the garment industry, and they're using near edge. And up and coming and very, very popular in a lot of your countries, it's Toshiba. I have a Toshiba right here. We have a Novex here, for example. These are both near edge. We have Zebra here in our other development room. These are the most popular brands now in the marketplace, and very, very versatile machines. Okay, so a very common mistake. Have a look at this picture. I think some of you will be familiar with this kind of print effect that happens, and it's like, oh my gosh, what's happened here? The TTR's rubbish, you know, throw it in the bin. Well, actually, this is just a very simple result of using a near edge TTR on a flat head printer, vice versa, and print qualities in between. Could be 10% bad or 100% bad, not even printing. This is quite common, and we go into a lot of professional companies and find that the wrong TTR is being used with the wrong printing machine. So be aware, don't give up. But using our Select TTR by ACE service overcomes all of this, because we will have taken all of your information and solved it before you get the sample. Okay, a word of warning. Some of you attending this webinar, maybe from the purchasing supply chain side, have a robust system for, you may have asked for samples, have a robust system of getting that sample down to your PD, product development, and your production department, because often we find that the sample goes down, it's not relevant to what those people are working on, it hasn't got the history to it, and then you get a result like we've just seen, and panic down on the production floor. So make sure you have a system of making sure those people understand why you've got the sample. You can always contact us. If you're in PD, you're in production, feel free to contact us. Say, I've got this sample roll, okay, please just help me with it, and we will guide you through. It's our pleasure to do that. Okay, now I've been through the three main areas. Okay, so product application, okay, substrates, and printers. What I'm encouraging you through this webinar is for you to take a hard look at the beginning of any project and try and find the answers to those. Okay, then after that, there are some other considerations that you may have, okay, which we've got here on the PPT. Okay, you may want to consider hard dedicating some printers to some projects. Now, our larger clients do this automatically. They may be printing for the Gap, for Mango. These are big projects, and they maybe have 4, 5, 6 machines just going on those projects. And so they set it up, same TTR, same project. That's fine, that works very well. Other companies are having to be more flexible. And again, talking about robust systems, you need to make sure that the production department knows exactly what machines should be used for which projects, and then which TTR is going to be used with that. So be careful, because it's all black ink on black film, and it's very hard to know the difference between these ribbons. Okay, we've just talked about it. Check the print head specification. I repeat it many a time, even in the big professional companies. Make this mistake, check it. And then consider the speed of the printing. Now, near edge printing is generally faster than flathead, but within flathead, we have a range of speeds. And nowadays we have some flathead TTRs that are very quick at a lower price. So it's a balance for you to consider. Okay. Some of you are very interested in darkness, some of the markets. want a very black print. Not all markets, but some of you do. Again, within our range, we can offer you different darknesses for similar crocking, similar speed, but with a different darkness. So again, talk to us about that if that's important. And today, in this ever-increasing green world that we live, we are asked more and more by clients to provide TTR solutions at a lower energy setting. So this is something that you will notice on our specification sheets and something that we talk with our clients about these days. Okay, so I hope that's okay. Now, let me just say that we offer a premier service called Select TTR by ACE. Okay, it's the best service of its type in the business. It's a rapid turnaround. It's free of charge for our professional clients. All of our clients today, and you know, our dozens and dozens of clients, they all use this service for a quick turnaround and making sure then they can get the right samples to test on their new products. Okay, we collect the substrates from you, we carry out testing, we make reports. Okay, we send those to you with proposals, commercial proposals. You've got everything you need. If you're interested, you can ask us then for free samples. Okay, so it's as easy as that. And that's our Select TTR by ACE. And if you look in the chat column here, please see there's a link. Please click on that link and one of our account managers will set up a free service for you so that you can use that service wherever you are in the world. Okay, we have Europeans on now, but we're doing that service to Central America. Okay, so wherever it is. I think that brings to an end, you know, the general points. It's a very basic webinar, basic information, but you know, these are the most important steps to take. If we get these steps right and we hold your hand, we'll help you get everything else right, and your project will run very smoothly and in a very sensible commercial way. I want to thank you very much for listening. I hope you were able to stay with me. And now I'm very happy to have a Q&A. And I can't see from here, I have to admit. I'm going to ask my team to have a look to see if there's some questions. Jenny, do you think you could have a look if there's some questions? And feel free to type any now if you've got some. Okay, so Jenny, have you got a question?
We have a question from Mr. Kim. Is the sample free?
Yes, okay. If you heard that, we got a question from Mr. Kim. Is the sample free? Yes, we provide samples for free. We actually, as part of Select TTR, we will pick up your substrates. We will get them couriered to us. It costs you nothing. Okay, if you're a professional printing company or a international manufacturing company, get sent to us. We'll do all the reports. If you're interested in that service, you can then ask us to send you free samples. Okay, and we take it from there. Thank you. Any other questions?
From Mr. Chen.
Mr. Chen, yes.
How many days the Select TTR take?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chen. Right, so we will normally arrange to pick up your substrates in 24 hours. So if you're at the factory, you're in PD department, you're out, you just gather your substrates. Normal big printers will have between 6 and 12 different types of substrates, for example. Okay, we need 5 meters of each, generally speaking, for testing. We will then ask you to send the package details. We'll then arrange. Most places in the world to here, the development center, we're just 1 kilometer from Saigon Airport. So we're the first in Vietnam to get our packages. Okay, so it's normally between 1. From Hong Kong, it's a day to here. From Europe, it's 2. From anywhere else, the maximum we've experienced is 4 days. We then make a commitment to get that report back. If it's less than 3 substrates, it will be 48 hours. If it's 3 and above, normally we're doing it in 72 hours. Then you've got the report. So within about a week, you will, maybe 8 days, you will have a fully costed up reports with suggestions. So it's a very, very quick service, Mr. Chen. Anyone else?
From Mr. Ben, we use APUF mercury printers, printing on black and white polyester fabric. Red TTR is a problem on black polyester fabric with the brightness of color. Have you experienced this, and do you have any of it?
Yes. Okay, if just to say what the question was, so this is about, if I understand correctly, this is about printing red onto a black PFL. Okay. Now, okay, it will be a subject of another webinar. Okay, and I will answer this personally to the client here. Okay, colors are tricky. Colors are tricky because the way we see colors. And setting the standards is tricky, and different regions have different preferences. We know what you're talking about when you're talking about red on black. We have various different reds that have a different effect. Now, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to your brand. Okay, red against brown, black is not easy because they're 2 dark colors. Okay, so white against black is lovely. Gold against black is nice, okay, and more expensive TTRs, but they give a great effect. Red is tricky. It plays tricks with the eyes. So I don't want to give you a definitive answer about what the one single solution is. We have 3 different types of red here for PFL, and we normally, through email, we try to get clients to pick one of them, for which we can often give a Pantone and they can check it, and then they'll select one for testing. But it's a tricky subject, color, not least because every person sees color differently. Obviously, when it comes to contract, we're used to doing colors with a delta, right, within the delta scale. So thank you for that question. I think I'll get one of my account managers to respond to you directly about that as well. Another question, Jenny?
From David, can you explain a little more about stone wash and chemical wash?
Yep, sure. So, okay, so it was a question about chemical wash and stone wash. Now, okay, this is where it's very, very important for you to get the specification of your brand. Otherwise, you can be wasting a lot of time going in the wrong direction. So all of us here in the supply chain, we take our demand from the brand and the requirements, and that's the application of the garments that they've got. Okay. Now, simply with TTR is we have TTRs that are okay for. These are the main washing high level. Stone wash, what is called an enzyme wash, and you need to check that for your project, whether that's necessary. And then we have dry clean, which we're all familiar when we do dry cleaning, and that involves a chemical clean. Okay, so we have products, so we have 6 PFL care wash TTRs, okay, of different quality, taking it from normal wash or an accelerated laundry test standard up to stone wash enzyme. These are different qualities, and dry clean. Okay, so I hope I'm answering your question. It's really for your client to indicate the standard. Now, standards are international IS standards, what was called British standards, BS, and obviously AATCC standards. And if you give those to us, we understand the standards and we will suggest the product for you. It's for you and your client to conduct the actual testing as always, to the requirements that you want, but the more you can explain to us, the better we can help you. Okay, I hope in part that explained. Another?
From Mr. Ben.
Mr. Ben?
Yeah.
We have a Mr. Ben. Okay, no, it's not a question. Oh, sorry, that was a repeat question. Okay, well, thank you for those questions. It was nice to have that ability to answer some of them. I will put you in contact with a key account manager, which is the way we work. I want to thank you very much for joining. I hope I had the pleasure in meeting you. I travel a fair bit out into the field. Please write to me if you feel as though you'd benefit from having a meeting with your business. I know it's a holiday weekend. We're late here, and it's going to be a big holiday weekend here in Saigon. I want to wish you a happy, I guess we call it a Labor Day weekend, wherever you are. And thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to working with you. Bye-bye.